Hey everybody, it's Marty from Northway Ford here on this beautiful day in Brantford. Now we did a quick video on the aesthetic features of the Mustang, but we got one in today and we're going to do a bit of a more thorough review of the vehicle. It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. Let's go. Starting with the brains of the beast, you got the new Coyote V8. Okay, it's been updated since last year. Last year you were seeing 420 horsepower out of this. Ford's bumped it up to 435 horsepower. That's on premium fuel. Now a lot of people are sort of worried about that. What are you going to get if you put 87 octane in? If you put that in, Ford says you're going to lose about 1%. So you're still sitting at about 430 horsepower. Now what I really like about this power is how they put it to the ground. This engine on this car is good for a 0 to 60 time of 4.5 seconds. Now a fan favorite on this Mustang, when you got this 5-liter V8, is the exhaust. Now Ford did even better this year. The 2014 sounded good, but when you start this thing up, you feel it more than you hear it. It's got just a guttural growl that anybody who sees likes. We'll start it up for you and give you a little shot. Now with 435 horsepower on tap, gives a lot to do with this car. But what's 435 horsepower if you can't drive it? And I think that's probably my favorite thing about the 2015 Mustang. The 2014 Mustang was a lot of fun. I drove one a couple weeks ago. It had the 5-liter V8 and the 6-speed standard. But Ford has really refined the way that this car shifts and the way that it feels. I can be driving down a road like this, you know, I'm doing 70 kilometers an hour. If I put it in 6th gear, which I can, drop to 1,000 RPM, and it's whisper quiet, it's super smooth, very comfortable. It doesn't feel like you're driving a muscle car. But then the fun comes out when you want it to. You drop this down a gear or two, and you can floor it, and you're put back in your seat really hard. It's a lot of excitement. It's just shy of scary, really. They put the power to the ground better than ever. It makes for a lot of fun. Woo! Now the transmission isn't just to blame for why this car feels the way it does. In 2015, Ford has switched from a solid rear axle to independent suspension. What's nice about that is when you're coming through a turn, it feels like the car wants to go through the turn instead of you directing it through the turn. It's really just an incredibly planted feel. Another really fun thing about the Mustangs is you got these track apps, right? So you have all sorts of different things you look at. You got your acceleration timer, your accelerometer. That's going to tell you how fast you're accelerating, how hard you're braking, and how well you can take this car through the corners. You step down, you got the acceleration timer, and the car will actually time you 0 to 50, 100, 200, 200 meters, 400 meters, tell you everything you want. Brake performance is going to tell you your 100 to 0 and your 200 to 0. Launch control. Launch control is going to have the RPM set to whatever you want. You can floor the gas. It'll stay at that RPM, and you can dump the clutch to get your 0 to 60 time down as small as you can get. Now, we're not going to show you all these track apps. Ford recommends you only use them on the track, and we'd also like to bestow the honor of doing that to this car's first owner. So it probably wouldn't be right for us to show you how to use all that kind of stuff. Another fun feature is the line lock, which allows you to brake only with the front wheels. And if you're at the drag strip, for all you guys and gals like to go out there, you can warm up the rear tires and get your 0 to 60 times and your quarter-mile times down as well. They really thought outside of the box building this car, you know, and they really appeal this car to anybody, whether you're taking it to the track or taking it just to the road to the store. Down here you got your traction control on and off. You got your steering feel. You can set that to normal, sport, or comfort. What that's going to do is adjust the electric power steering. Tighten up the steering when you're on the track, or make it looser, more comfortable if you just want to go on a road trip. You also got your drive modes. You got normal, sport plus, you got track, and you got wet. So when you're in normal mode, it's going to drive pretty relaxed. When you put it in sport mode, it's going to turn up the throttle response, but it's going to keep your traction control on is going to keep you going in a straight line. That's for a lot of people that maybe can't handle the full 435 horsepower. It is a lot. When you're in track mode, it turns off the stability, it turns off the traction control rather, leaves the stability control on. You don't really want to turn that off. And when you're in rain, that's going to really turn on the traction and stability control. Make sure that you keep it going in a straight line. You don't want to put this car into the ditch. It really makes this car available to anybody that wants to drive it. It's also got Ford's second generation of sync. That's what we've seen in all sorts of the vehicles, all the videos that we've been doing. Very, very easy to use from your navigation, your radio, your phone, climate controls. I've really enjoyed using Ford's second generation of sync, and I'm looking forward to seeing the third generation when it comes out later in the year. Lastly, you got your fuel economy. Now, it's all well and good to have a fast car, but with the cost of gasoline, it's getting expensive to own one. Now, when I'm looking at this, it's showing you 12.4 liters per 100 kilometers. We haven't been easy on this car by any means. We've been showing you how it performs, the way it looks, all that kind of stuff. We're trying to make it look good, and we return those numbers. It shows 15.2 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, and it shows 9.3 liters per 100 kilometers on the highway. And having driven this car, I can tell you that those numbers are really easy to beat. Canada switched to a 5-cycle system when they did their fuel economy ratings this year. Last year they were doing the 2-cycle. With the 2-cycle, people weren't getting exactly the numbers they were getting, but with the 5-cycle, I find the numbers are easy to beat. So you can take this car, and you can drive it, and you can use up all the gas in the world if you want, but you also have the opportunity to save gas. When I was on the highway, we were looking at low 8s. 9.3 is pretty close, but like I said, anybody can do better than that if you want the fuel economy. So big kudos to Ford with the work that they've done on this car. It looks nicer than ever, it's better than ever on gas, faster than ever, and it's easier than ever to get into. You get these kind of numbers, 435 horsepower, you can get that for sub 50,000 Canadian, which really isn't a lot of money in today's market for the automobile. But don't take my word for it. All these facts you can prove yourself. Come on in for a test drive today, 388 King George Road.